And Tom, I think there's a burning question to put to you, which is Boris Johnson a greater threat to Rishi Sunak inside the House of Commons or outside of it?
I think we can see very clearly from the resignation statement that Boris Johnson has put out in the last few minutes that he is going to be a deep, deep thorn in the side of Rishi Sunak's government. I'd like to read, actually, just some lines from this statement in terms of how eviscerating it is, in terms of how Rishi Sunak is running the government. Boris Johnson writes that our party needs to urgently recapture its sense of momentum and its belief in what this country can do. Of course, implicitly saying it's lost momentum and lost belief. Boris Johnson goes on to write that we need to show how we're making the most of Brexit. Why have we so passively abandoned the prospect of a free trade deal with the US? Why have we junked measures to help people into housing, or to scrap EU directives, or to promote animal welfare? This is Boris Johnson taking piece by piece policies that he promoted as Prime Minister. Housing really stands out there to me as something that Boris Johnson promoted to reform the planning system, and now the Labour Party has taken on as their big mantle. To me, this statement reads like the sort of epitaph of a Conservative government. These will be the lines we hear. If the Conservative Party lose the election next year, Boris Johnson can very easily point to this statement, point to the abandonment of what he views as Conservative principles and ambition within governance, and say, if you'd have stuck with me, you might have won. Now, whether or not that's true, that is a narrative that Boris Johnson is clearly setting up. And I think the other thing of note in this resignation statement is he says he's very sad to be leaving Parliament, at least for now. Well, could it be that, like the Roman leader Cincinnatus that Boris Johnson referred to when he was resigning as Prime Minister on the steps of Downing Street, could it be that perhaps after another electoral cycle, perhaps when Boris Johnson is midway through his 60s, not too old an age to re-enter politics, could it be that he comes back to try and lead the Conservatives again from opposition? There are many, many clues in this statement to looking at what Boris Johnson is thinking right now, perhaps not for the next year, perhaps not even for the next 5 years, but beyond that.
Yes, now, will Boris Johnson, do you think, be pushing for the Tories to lose the next election? Are we seeing stage one of a scorched earth policy against Rishi Sunak?
I don't think that Boris Johnson would want the Conservatives to lose the next election. However, it is clear that he is furious with Rishi Sunak. Indeed, he's furious with the Privileges Committee, what he views as a kangaroo court, as a biased set of individuals running that committee. Now, through that, it is clear that Boris Johnson and indeed Nadine Dorries, through their resignations today, creating these awkward by-elections for the government, are not giving the government any favours at all. Now, will Boris Johnson be happy if the Conservatives lose power, if they throw away that historic mandate that he won in 2019? I very much doubt it. However, will he be knocking on every door to try and help them win? I very much doubt that too.